Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. My name is Art Chat Daddy Sims, and I host a nightly entertainment show that can be found on social digital media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. Tonight is a very special occasion. We are celebrating a high school that meant much to so many people. My normal shows are usually top news stories, lifestyle interviews, entertainment, all of that. But my co-host tonight is an amazing young lady who I've been friends with since high school. And she recently called me very concerned about the final few days of what was known as Luther High School South. The address of let me make sure I get this right. 3031 West 87th Street meant a lot to a lot of people over the course of years. And so my co-host tonight is Miss Ann Dietrich. She is a graduate of Luther South, and you graduated in the class of 87. I graduated in 84. And you and I both decided that tonight we would create a really fun yet informative way to honor Luther South, to share history about Luther South, and to let people know that the school really did stand for a lot and had just some amazing people involved in the school. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host, my good friend, and the catalyst behind this conversation tonight, our girl, Miss Ann Dietrich. Yay!
Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you.
How are you? Hey, what's happening?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Good, good. You look great, and you don't look a day over senior year in high school. I think I must have posted your senior picture. And
Yeah.
other than your hairstyle, you look amazing. How's life been treating you?
Life is good. Life is good. I mean, for us being in a pandemic, life is good.
Yes, yes, absolutely. How has your family been faring during this pandemic?
We're all good, I guess, as far as we can say. I mean, Unfortunately, I had COVID, but I lived through it, and everybody else is okay. I think I was the only one out of my whole family that had it.
Okay. And I'm so sorry about you contracting COVID. You know, normally we talk about the COVID update on this show and we share the numbers, but tonight we're paying homage to our high school that everybody knew about our high school, but they knew very little history about our high school. And so I'm just so glad that you're here. So how did you get through the whole COVID crisis? Did you extra vitamin C? Did you have any secrets or anything to get over COVID?
I think what helped me was I started taking oh shoot, you had to ask me a question I wasn't ready for.
Oh, see that? See, you the co-host. There you go.
I didn't know we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, see?
Actually, I started feeling crappy and I thought it was like the beginning of a cold. So I went and I got Mucinex D from behind the counter. And I started taking that, and I think that's what saved me because I was taking a decongestant, and it totally helped me. So I didn't have any breathing issues. I was taking that, and it saved me. But I just was taking lots of fluids, and I just did what they told me to do.
Okay, all right. We're glad you're okay. We're glad
I made it through.
Yes, absolutely. As we progress throughout the evening this evening, the show is designed to cover decades. Luther South was first opened in 1951. And so Ann and I have done our very best to try to do as much research as possible, try to find people. If they didn't want to talk on camera, at least they sent us emails or messages of what they wanted to convey about Luther South. Our show tonight is all about happiness, good energy, and the fact that this school really did affect a lot of people. So some of the guests that will be joining us tonight is the former mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Eugene Sawyer. His daughter is an alum of Luther South, so she'll be here tonight to talk to us about her experience at Luther South, as well as we'll meet a young lady who is not only a graduate of Luther South, but her family has a lifelong history and legacy in the school that dates back a number of years. So she'll share her story. And then at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, Luther South was very much known for its sports teams. And so joining us tonight is Coach Tim Warnicki from California. He'll talk to us tonight about his years at Luther South. He was there in the 80s when Luther South was really the most prominent school on the south side of Chicago for private education. And then we'll continue on into the 90s and early 2000s. And before this show is over tonight, we want everyone to know that love actually happened at Luther South. And our last two guests tonight will share how they fell in love as students at Luther South. Yay!
Aww.
We doing it, right, Ann? Is that what we said we were going to do tonight?
Yes. Nothing
yes,
but
very
love.
good. Nothing but love. That's all it is tonight. So here's the deal, you guys. Pete's Fresh Market has made an announcement that they will be taking over the old Luther High School South land at 3130 West 87th Street. Here's a fact that many of you all may not know, but over 7,000 people graduated from the co-educational school known as Luther South. Luther South was considered a private Lutheran high school in the Ashburn neighborhood of Chicago, and it is right across the street from the beginning of Evergreen Park. Actually, the south side of 87th Street would be considered Evergreen Park. All right, so I did my part. So now, Ann, you call me and you were quite upset. And so please share your story with everybody. Let's talk about your family history, legacy there at Luther South, and why it is so important that you at least get some closure with Luther South. Go right ahead, Ann.
Okay. I'm going to try to make it quick and simple. It all started because my grandmother went to a high school that was called Luther Institute. And Luther Institute was located on the west side of Chicago, near the old Chicago Stadium on Wood Street, which was west of the Loop. And that high school was open from 1904 to 1953. And what it was a first and second generation group of German Lutherans that helped ground the school. So when that school closed, it split into two different schools, Luther South and Luther North. So when my grandma found out that they were going to open up Luther South, she was very smart businesswoman, and she decided that she was going to pull out all the stops and get a hold of all her business friends and get money from all her friends to donate money and get Luther South going. So she did what she knew how to do and asked for money and got these donations and helped as much as she could to get Luther South rolling. And another reason why Luther is what it is, my mom went there and graduated from there. So my mom was about 11 when they put the foundation in. And when I spoke with her about this whole thing happening with the closing, she said that she can't remember exactly what the coins were, but she put a jar of coins in one of the cornerstones. I'm assuming it's the one from 1951. Mm-hmm. So there's a jar of coins. She doesn't know if it's pennies, nickels, or dimes, but she put a jar of coins in this cornerstone. And she was about 11. And I'm assuming that there's also a letter explaining, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm this age, and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's kind of interesting that my mom had a little piece in that cornerstone from way back when, because now she's 80 years old, you know. Mm-hmm. So in that little cornerstone is a little piece of my family history, not the Dietrich side, but my mom's side, which is the Kargard side, the Danish side of my family. Mm-hmm. And then when she was old enough, she went to Luther. And she graduated in 1958.
Yes, she did.
I had to
She did.
remember that.
She did. I have it here in my notes. She graduated in 1958.
Yes.
And let me say this real quick before anybody try to go over to Luther South and try to knock that cornerstone out and try to think you're getting ready to be rich. Let me kind of give you guys some of the numbers of when Miss Dietrich graduated in 1958. The average yearly income was $4,650. The average
Wow.
house cost $30,000. A brand
Wow.
new Ford car on the low end was $1,967. On the high end, a luxury Ford car would cost you $3,929. Tuition at Harvard at the time was $1,250 a year. A gallon of gas, I know, a gallon of gas was 24 cents. A gallon of milk was $1.01, and a half a gallon was 42 cents. A postage stamp was 4 cents. A cantaloupe was 5 cents. Chef Boyardee 15 and a half ounce can was 19 cents.
Wow.
And here's another one of our favorites. Uncle Ben's rice, a 14-ounce box, was 19 cents. And just think, you guys, we have now retired Uncle Ben. So that's how far we've come along.
Wow.
Right. That's how far we've come along. So
Wow.
that when your mom was graduating from Luther South, that was the top things that was the cost of things. Now, if your mom was allowed to listen to secular music, because right, she may not have been able to listen to secular music. If she did, the number one song that she listened to in 1958 was Claudette by the Everly Brothers. She also listened to the Everly Brothers, not Elvis, but the Everly Brothers. And their song is All I Have to Do Is Dream. She listened to At the Hop by Danny and the Juniors. She also listened to Elvis Presley, Don't Ask Me Why. And then the song Tequila was another popular song by the Champs. So before any of you guys want to go over there and try to break in, get that cornerstone thinking you've hit the pot of gold, it's not going to happen. I just told you guys what the cost of living was back then. So, Ann, let's kind of talk about your dad and his illustrious 30-year career at Luther.
Well, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the before part, except for I do know that he got the call in 1968 to go teach there. It was part-time. I don't know if everybody knows about my dad, but he has a degree from Northwestern. He went to Northwestern first and got a business degree. And after he got his business degree is when he decided he wanted to become a pastor. So he has a business degree, and then he went to Concordia for 8 years and got his Master's of Divinity.
Wow.
And then he decided he wanted to teach. So then he went to school for another 2 years and got another master's degree in education.
Mm-mm.
So you have to realize my dad's a pretty smart cookie.
Mm-hmm.
He's got lots of degrees.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the reasons why you and I were doing this show tonight is actually your dad, what would have been your dad's birthday would be this coming Thursday, correct?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Wait,
all
what's
right.
today's date? The 25th?
Today is the 25th.
Yeah. Wednesday.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you for doing this. And we really did say we want to let people know and bring them some cheer and all of that. So you followed into your dad's footsteps. You've been in education now for a number of years. You grew up on the campus of Luther South. What are some of your earliest memories of the campus of Luther South?
I remember as a very young child, my dad was faculty, and you always had to have a faculty member as a part of many of the things that Luther did. So he was a big part of the men's association, Luther had the Men's Association, and then they had the Ladies Guild. And my dad helped with the Men's Association. And the Men's Association did like all the home games, basketball, wrestling, oh boy, soccer. Well, we had soccer, but they didn't have food at those. Football, anything, volleyball, anything that required people to come and congregate, and they had food. The Men's Association always had the food there. So he helped with all that. So in order for my dad to be there, it meant that the kids had to come along. So no matter how old we were, we came along. And I would have to say that probably since I was the age of 5, we went along. And the football games are always on the weekends. So I spent my Saturdays every Saturday early in the morning until well into the afternoon at Luther. And we made popcorn, we made hot dogs, you name it. And I remember as a kid at one time, my parents handing me a garbage bag, and I would go under the bleachers and pick up all the aluminum cans and put the aluminum cans in a garbage bag. And I'd bring it back and go, look at what I got, and I was all excited, not having a clue that, I was really working
Right.
to get aluminum cans. Did I ever see anything from it? Well, I don't remember.
You were helping the school, and that was way before child labor laws. Right. So that's what that was. It really was
having fun. I didn't care. I was having fun either way. Beautiful. But my brother would make the popcorn before me, and then when he got sick and tired of it, it became my job to make the popcorn. And I made the popcorn until I got tired of it and then passed it on to my younger siblings. But I could not walk out of that field house until the popcorn was made and boxed. And then I could go have fun and do whatever. But
wonderful. Now, Ann, let me ask you this. How many siblings did you have to go to Luther South? Not only did your mom go, but you had quite a few siblings that went to Luther South as well too.
There were 6 of us, and all of us went to Luther South, and almost all of us graduated. 5 out of the 6 graduated from Luther South. There was only one that did not graduate from Luther South. He attended for 2 years.
Okay.
But he did not graduate. But 5 out of 6 graduated from Luther.
Okay. Just so you guys know that are listening to us, at Luther South's heyday, when it was a very major, thriving school, the largest student body count was 1,200 students at one time in that building. And we'll talk a little bit later about the largest graduating class and all of that. All right. So, Ann, we did have some people reach out to us and express themselves through an email. We do have a lady who graduated with your mom in 1958. And if you could, Ann, read her letter and we'll give her a shout out. And then we have some other people we need to shout out as well, too. Go right ahead.
Absolutely. This is from Miss Gail Tremaine Christopher. Hi, my name is Gail Tremaine Christopher. I was at Luther from 1954 to 1958. When I graduated, I went to Valparaiso. Most of the faculty was only 4 to 5 years older than us. I was in choir with Mr. Masrelli for all 4 years. And if I say these names wrong, please forgive me.
Yeah, forgive us.
Mr. Masrelli died this past year.
Wow. Our condolences.
Yeah. His wife had been in an accident just before the wedding, so she went up the aisle with her cast on. He was a highly acclaimed musician with several doctorate degrees. I was also a cheerleader freshman through senior year. It was years of winning basketball. Mr. Dickier, who also died this past year, was very much in charge. We had pep rallies and homecoming. always had a huge bonfire out in the field. We never had a bonfire.
Yeah, we oh, you guys didn't, but I think we did. At the
Did you?
very, I think maybe our freshman or sophomore year, we may have had a bonfire because yeah, that would have been.
Wow.
Look, I'm an inner city kid. That would be my only bonfire. So yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Okay.
It was then that the Queen and court were announced. I was lucky to have been on the court my junior and senior year. We wore yellow jumpsuits for gym. Miss Kirshner was our teacher. Is that the same Miss Kirshner that I had?
Lois Kirshner. She had been there forever. Miss Kirshner had, yes, Miss Kirshner, Lois Kirshner had been there. She was our female PE teacher.
Wow.
And yeah. So can you imagine that? She had been there all that time.
Wow.
Right. Yep.
Wow. Field hockey was our fall sports. Miss Kirshner had a cherry laugh. I don't ever remember her laughing. But we always had to take showers. Luther has many memories for all of us. Aw.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Well, all right. Shout out to Gail. Thank you so very much, Gail, for adding your letters to us, and we appreciate that. And let me see. As we move on, we ended up getting a letter from a gentleman in 1969. And let's kind of talk about what this gentleman said in his letter.
Okay. The letter from 69 is from Kevin Dean. My name is Kevin E. Dean. I graduated from Luther South in 1969. I was a member of the football team, basketball team, and track team. I graduated as a member of the National Honor Society. I have bitter and sweet memories of my 4 years at Luther South. I am a retired chaplain from the Chicago Police Department. I pastor a church, New Vision of Faith Ministries, and I host the Everyday People radio broadcast heard every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. on WBGX 1570 AM.
And that's a Chicago-based radio station for those of you all that are watching us all over the country. That was a great letter from him as well. I did try to reach out to these people to ask them that they want to come on tonight. Were they capable of doing this? They all have agreed that it was fine, to read their letter to the audience, and they wish everyone well, but wanted to share their stories. All right. Well, Ann, let me see. We got that part going. We are going into the 70s in just a little bit. What else do you want to say about Luther South? Let's talk a little bit about, some of the things that your family kind of did around there to just, there's some keepsakes you kind of want to find, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff. One of the other things that my grandparents helped with was the stained glass windows that were in the chapel. Now, I don't want to find them because we already have them. Years ago when the school opened up and let people in there, my little brother was able to go in and purchase them, and he was able to take them out, and he has them with him. Good. He was at a church in Beecher, Illinois, but he took a call to Nebraska. So he's currently in Nebraska, and he has them with him in Nebraska. Nice. So yeah, he had them put into this really very nice, I guess it's movable. It kind of is like a picture frame, only it sits on the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. And it's just nice to know that they're with family, and they're not going to be torn down, because how do you get windows out? Right. It was a labor of love. That's all I'm going to say. Okay,
good.
My older brother helped, my younger brother, it was a big to do. Sure. But at least I know that that's something that will not get demolished.
Yes, amen. I'm just happy to know that happened. I know some people now want to get trophies and yearbooks.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean,
shout out to everybody who has
Yeah.
gone by the property and taken a picture in front of the school. It's
Yeah.
been really great to see those pictures. And it's just, amazing to know that that school was built in 1951, has had as
Mhm.
many graduates as it had, and as well as the just changing of people and
Mhm.
circumstances. A lot of people, as you said, didn't even know that, Coach Kirshner had been there that
Oh,
long. But yeah, I knew she had
no.
been there that long. So
I
that,
did not realize that. That's a long
yes.
time.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what this show is
Very
all about
interesting.
tonight. For those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. I do a nightly entertainment show Monday through Thursday night from 7 p.m. Central Time until we get tired. Usually it's about 9:15. It's digital, so we don't have to worry about anything. I am a former Luther South graduate, class of 84. Shout out to everyone who I graduated with. Yes. And just honored to do this tonight. As you guys all know, recently, there was a lot of, discussion in the news that a new supermarket is coming to the land that was formerly Luther South. And when you really do a search on Luther South, there is no real spoken history about the school. One thing, the school had an amazing reputation. It really was a word of mouth type of school that if someone said you should send your child to Luther, people did whatever they had to do. We'll talk about that in the 70s and 80s years, but just a really stellar school. And so tonight, this is an effort to bring everybody together from all classes, all walks of life, so that we can share really fond memories of Luther South. And Miss Ann Dietrich, my co-host tonight, is a young lady who was the catalyst for all of this. She called me and was just like, man, Luther, I just can't believe it. And I never knew her backstory. I never knew that her family was there since the inception. And so tonight we're just trying to share as many stories as we possibly can. And in just a little bit, we're going to move over into the decade of the 70s. And we have some wonderful people that will be talking to us about the 70s. Then we'll move into the 80s, and then we'll do the 90s and 2000s, and we'll close our show out tonight. And so this might be like a telethon, and this might be like to midnight or something. I got to limit the time on this. I do. I really do. But we appreciate all of you all who are joining us tonight. If you want to start a watch party, just hit the share button, start a watch party, invite other people who went to Luther South to chime in. If you guys want to put a message up on the board, you have to do it on the YouTube page of the Real Chat Daddy Show or the Facebook page for the Real Chat Daddy Show, and your message will come up on the board. You can do a shout out for your class, yourself, or just say hello. All right. So, Ann, how are you doing so far as the co-host tonight? You okay? You doing a good job?
I'm doing wonderful. We should do this all the time.
See, we should. Ebony and Ivory, we can do this.
Hey, I'm all
Hey,
about
we
it.
really, really could. And what would you say are some of your fond, not to give away all of it, but just your fondest memories of just say your freshman year of being at Luther
Oh, I
South?
have to tell you this story of freshman year. I'm telling you. Okay, so I didn't look the same as I did sophomore through senior year. I had brown hair and it was longer.
Mm-hmm.
I still look the same though, like facial wise. I mean, everybody says I'm my father's twin, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the seniors did not know that Pastor Dietrich had a daughter going there, my freshman year. And you know
Right.
how all the seniors would hang out in Senior Square and sell tickets to elevator, they'd sell the elevator passes and pool passes. Well, I'm walking through with my little crew of Janine Harper, Talana Williams. We're just walking through and they're like, hey, did you guys get your passes? We could sell them for, cheaper, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what passes? And they're like, don't talk to them, don't talk to them. And I'm like, well, let's find out what's going on. And they're like, yeah, did you get your passes? And I'm like, no, what passes would that be? And they're like, oh, well, we have discounted pool passes. And I'm like, really? There's a pool? Where's the pool at? And they're like, oh, it's underneath over there. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I don't have my pool pass. I'm playing it off like, ooh. And then I'm like, where's the elevator? And they're like, oh, we have to show you where that is. And I'm like, oh, okay. I go, well, I just got one thing to do. And they're like, well, what do you got to do? I go, I got to go get money first. Oh, where are you going to go get money first? Oh, just down the hall to room 109. Well, what's in room 109? My dad, Pastor Dietrich. I got to go get money from my dad to go get a pool pass and passes for the elevator. They're like, no, 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 no. Don't go down there. It was the funniest thing. And my friend, we just started laughing hysterically. And they were like, no, don't tell Pastor Dietrich. Don't tell him. Oh, it was hilarious. I played it to the hilt because I knew there was no pool and there was no elevator.
That's right. That's right. And I want to reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, that Luther South was a Christian high school, and that the people who tried to sell this pass were trying to demonstrate their marketing and sales abilities. Their marketing and sales abilities is what they were trying to do. Yes, that's what they were trying to do. By no means were they trying to discount that great Christian education that we were receiving and conning people. They just couldn't do that. We were not that type of school.
They were just being
Are
kids.
You right? Now wait a minute. How long was room 109 your dad's classroom? Because I remember him being in 109. I think like that's his magic number.
It was 109 was his religion room the 4 years that I was there.
Okay, and it was the 4 years I was there. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pastor Dietrich.
But he also taught math, and then he also taught business because you know he was a number cruncher for a while. I mean, when he got his business degree, he worked for a jeweler doing their books.
Okay.
And that was, you know, his first job out of Northwestern.
Yes,
so
absolutely. Well, and before we move on into the 70s, we do want to take a few moments to acknowledge all of the people who have passed away that are former alum at Luther South. We just had a shock delivered to us this morning of a Luther South alum who passed away. And if you could, because his family has made it public, but we do want to acknowledge his passing as well as all the other people as well, too.
This is going to be tough. He was a classmate of mine from 1987, Mr. Christopher Traylor. And my condolences to his family, but we are Braves family, and we are Braves for life.
We are. We really are. We really, really are. We want to send our thoughts and prayers out to his entire family. He passed away this morning, and I really do appreciate you being here tonight. And thank you. I wanted to acknowledge that, as well as we want to acknowledge all of the Braves who have gone on before all of us. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out. And if anybody is being affected by COVID, we're praying for everybody on that situation as well, too. You okay? Did the cat go get you a tissue? I love it. I you know, this is reality TV. This is right. This is not now look. Yes, look. And if a cat walk behind me, please let me know. Please let me know, because there should be no cat walking behind me. So that's okay. But that's reality. That's what we do around here. We do. So we're so glad that you guys are here with us this evening. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to that young man's family. You okay, my friend?
I'll be okay.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, Ann, coming up next, we're going to talk about everything that was the 70s. And do you remember the 70s, or were you just a meager, minor little young lady back then? I remember the 70s.
I remember the 70s. I mean, I was born in the late 60s. I remember the 70s. I remember wearing bell bottoms. And I remember having my first pair of platforms. I want to say I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and I got a pair of hand-me-down platforms, and I want to say that they were at least 4 inches high.
Wow. Ooh. You were high stepping.
Yeah, I was happy to have those hand-me-downs.
You were high stepping.
Those were pretty cool. They were pretty cool shoes.
Right. You were high stepping for real. You really were.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm getting ready to give you some lowdown on the 70s while we're waiting on all of our guests to chime in and continue this conversation. Thank you, class of 67, Lynn M. Klein. I remember your dad. I never had his class. That's beautiful. Thank you guys so much for everybody who is joining us tonight. We're so glad that you guys could be here. So let me give you some statistics about the 70s. One of our guests was in 1972, January 5th. Our president at the time, do you know who our president was back then?
In the 70s?
In 1972, do you know who our president was?
I have no idea.
All right, well, I'll tell you. Richard Nixon was our president,
I
and
was
he
gonna
ordered
guess Nixon.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, not too bad
Nixon.
off.
He ordered the development of space shuttle program. January 16th, 1972, the Super Bowl was between the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. And this was what? Super Bowl VI. And isn't that something? And the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Miami Dolphins 21-3. January 25th of 1972, Shirley Chisholm was the first African American congresswoman to announce her candidacy for president.
Wow.
And the controversy was in February 18th. The California Supreme Court voids the state death penalty, commuting all death sentences to life in prison.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? And so
Wow.
that's what was going on in the 70s. Now, the top songs that were the landscape of the 70s. Now, we're just not talking about regular everyday songs, but songs that had the most impact on people's minds, no matter what race they were, was number one, James Brown, Get Up. I feel like being a sex machine. Can you believe that? Now, what did that say about the 70s? My Lord, clutch your pearls. Number two was the Jackson Fives, I'll Be There. Number three would be George Harrison's song, My Sweet Lord. Do you remember that song? My Sweet Lord. Yeah, we used to all sing that song. The Grateful Dead would come up next on the list, and their song or their album would be Uncle John's Band. Janis Joplin was one of the songs that was the fabric of our lives back then, and her song was Me and Bobby McGee. The average family vehicle back then cost $3,800. A gallon of milk had gone up to $1.65 by the 70s. Coffee was $1.12 a pound. Eggs were 84 cents a dozen. Bread was 28 cents a loaf. And the minimum average wage for a person back then, minimum wage, was $2.10. Wow. And to buy a new home, did I tell you guys, it was $50,000 to buy a new home. All right, so we'll talk about some more 70s facts. But right now, we want to introduce an amazing young lady. Her father was the former mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Eugene Sawyer. She's just a wonder to talk to, just a great person. She's going to talk to us tonight, and then we're going to add another young lady into the conversation in just a little bit, who her family had a tremendous legacy at Luther South as well, too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, our good friend, Miss Cheryl Sawyer McGill.
Hey.
Is she there? Wait, let me add her. Oh, there she is. Oh, wait, let me put her back in. Hold on. That was me this time. That was me. Hello, my friend.
How are you? Yeah, because I have the tape off this time.
Yes, you did. And you're looking phenomenal this time. Good to see you. How you doing?
Thank you. Nice to see both of you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well. Hanging in there. Class of 76.
Oh, wow, look at that.
1976.
Look at that. Wow.
I've got mine under the table.
Mine's is around here somewhere. I still have my yearbook as well, too. I do still have it. So I just want to talk about, first of all, how did you even end up at Luther South? What made you a student at Luther South? And then I just want to find out, what was life like when you were there? Go right ahead. Introduce yourself and go right ahead.
Well, I went to Luther South in 1972. Now, I went to a small grammar school that is no longer in existence, and it's called Howelton Day School. the whole school comprised of about 200 students in the entire school. That's K through 8. And I think that I really wanted to go to another private school because I was used to being in such a small school, and the school that initially my mother wanted me to go to was Lindblom. And to me, Lindblom was huge. And I said, I don't want to go to Lindblom. And I found out that some of the kids from Howelton were going to Luther South. And I said, I want to go to Luther South. So we had to have a meeting actually with the principal at that time. And because I was not Lutheran. I'm Methodist. So we had to go meet with the principal, and I think at that time it was it Steinbeck?
Oh, wow.
I know UTEC came by the time I was a senior, but I want to say it was Steinbeck when. So yeah, that's how I got into Luther South. But it's amazing. My graduating class from Howelton Day School, 8th grade, I think there were 3 of us that went to Luther South. Out of 19 students, 3 of us went to Luther South.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I want to find out from you, and what was the ethnic makeup of when you went to Luther South? You know, one of the things that I kind of wanted to do with this tonight in order to bring us all in was to just kind of find out, you know, what was the ethnic makeup and how were you treated even over there in that area then?
Yeah. It was, I want to say, probably about 30 to 40% African American and about 60% Caucasian at that time. As far as the neighborhood didn't like us too much. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, we had some experiences there. Even I remember going to one of our classmates' home. We were helping to build the float for homecoming, and her neighbors stood outside, and they weren't very kind to us. They basically didn't want us in their neighborhood. But as far as school, you know, we had a wonderful time in school. I have friends from Luther South that I still have today. One of the songs that you didn't mention Benny and the Jets.
Yeah, you know what? One of my
Elton
favorites.
John.
It was on the list. Elton John was somebody we were introduced to then.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my next question. Where did you all party? What did you do? All of that.
We partied all over the place, but you know, we did participate in the homecoming dances. We went to the pep rallies and the football games. I don't know if that's part of your history, but I have an interesting tidbit.
Please.
I think it was my sophomore year. The song by Donna Summer came out, "Love to Love You, Baby." And there were reporters that came up to Luther South, and they were interviewing the students, and they wanted to know if we thought that song would promote teenage pregnancy.
What? Get out of here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And there's something else. There were some things I wanted to mention. We were also, our class, we were part of Luther South transitioning because when my freshman year at Luther South, girls could not wear pants.
Ooh.
And also, you know, during that time, mini skirts were popular.
Okay.
But at Luther South, your skirt could not be any shorter than 4 inches above the knee. And there was a dean of students, Mr. Stripe, who used to monitor.
Right, yes.
Yes, he used to monitor the length of the ladies' dresses, and I think whoever worked was a woman who worked in the office. I can't remember her name, but she would measure your skirt, and if it was shorter than 4 inches above the knee, you had to go home and change.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So some of us, sometimes we knew we kind of missed the mark. So when we would see stripe, everybody started hiding.
Or start yanking their skirts down.
Right.
Start pulling, right. Start,
If,
yes,
wait a minute,
yes.
if they could.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yes. Or either start walking hunched over.
Right.
Right. Oh my God. Oh,
So,
that is so funny.
Yeah. So my sophomore year, I believe it was voted that we could wear pants, but then there were still restrictions because you could not wear pants. You couldn't wear your shirt tucked in. The blouse had to be over, over the buttocks. It had to be over. So
Wow.
you either had to have a blouse that was over, or you had to have a jacket or a sweater
Wow.
that would
Okay.
cover. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm so glad that I did not have to wear a skirt.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah.
that was a part of that private education, that
that's right.
upbringing. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, women
Yeah.
didn't wear pants. I mean, pants was rebellious for women.
Yeah.
That was oh yeah, you were
I'm such a bad tomboy. I can't how to wear skirts to this day. Ooh.
yeah, no, oh no,
Yeah.
you really, oh, absolutely. I want to bring in another young lady. She is actually from the class of 87 with Ann as well, too.
Okay.
But she actually has family that goes all the way back to the 70s. She may even have a relative that was in school with you as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show from the class of 87, Miss Paulette Rogers. Yay!
Good evening, everybody.
Yay!
Hi, Paulette.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Hey,
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah,
we can hear you good. We can hear you perfectly. Yes. How are you this evening?
I am excellent. My
Good.
family legacy with Luther South is amazing. We actually span 3 decades.
Oh, wow.
If you think about my uncles, my dad's brothers, one uncle Jerry, we know him as Homer Neville's. He was class of 1971. My uncle Stan was 1973. Thinking about the Luther Institute Annie mentioned, Luther North, my older sisters, Twan and Shelley, went to Luther North. So that's 1978 and 81. And of course, Pauletta, my twin, and I were class of 1987 with Annie Dietrich. And my brother Will Jr. was class of 91. So all together,
Wow.
we span 3 decades. And it's just amazing the family we met there, the relationships that have continued with Annie and everyone else in 87, Maurice Mason. I can't say enough just about how reliable and how true our friendships have been.
Nice, nice, beautiful. Ladies, something that I wanted to talk about, and sure, you actually brought this up and it made sense. I was not Lutheran either.
Yeah.
You were not. Now, Paulette, her family actually had Lutheran history and had been Lutheran for years. In order for me to go to Luther South, that was one of those things like, oh, if you're Lutheran, see, when I went there, your tuition was cheaper versus you had to go talk to somebody. And so I'm just trying to figure out, I wondered like how many people when you were there, Cheryl, were actually Lutheran as well, or did most of us come through there because we were academically great or we talked to the principal, had potential? What do you think it was?
I think the overwhelming majority of the students when I was there were Lutheran. And if they did not attend, someone in their family attended, or they went to a Lutheran elementary school. So they were connected to the Lutheran denomination in some way. I was the one that stuck out like a sore thumb. And I remember in one of our religion classes, they were studying other denominations, and everybody turned around and looked at me, and said, "Oh, well, you're not Lutheran." What do you believe?
Right.
And I was like the same thing.
Right. Just go with the program.
Right.
Yeah, just go with the program while you here. I agree. I agree 100%.
It's like,
Paula,
say, I believe
Paula,
in Jesus too.
yeah, same thing I said. Same thing
Right.
I said. I really did.
Yeah.
Because now, and you actually always have been Lutheran by faith, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I
all
did
you've
not
ever been.
I did not have a choice.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't know
And
anything
Yep.
else.
and you know, I
Yeah, I
lived
know.
around the corner from St. Peter Lutheran. Uh, you know, because Pastor Ford used to work at Luther South at one time.
Oh, I
So
love Mr.
because I
Ford.
remember sometimes I was waiting on the bus, and if Pastor Ford saw me, he'd give me a ride to school. And
Hmm.
then as I got older, uh, one of my girlfriends used to drive, so we would give her our bus fare, and she would drive us to school.
Very good.
Yeah.
Paulette, perfect, my friend. Beautiful. Let me ask you this, Cheryl. Now, getting to school, did you do the green limousine? Did you have to do school bus? How? Because again, I tell people, I remember when we didn't live past Damon, so I could
Mhm.
only imagine leaving our areas that we came from. How was your journey and commute to school every day?
Yeah, I lived near State Street. Like I said,
Okay.
St. Peter Lutheran was on Michigan. I lived on Wabash, so I would get to State Street to get the bus to 87th, and then take the 87th Street bus
Mm-hmm.
until we were driving age. So
Mm-hmm.
it was the bus until we got our licenses.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Paulette, I want to get some comments from some of your family members. Some of your relatives did give comments about their time at Luther South. Would you like to recap some of the things that they said for us tonight?
Absolutely, I will. Now, you've got to know that my uncles, and this is our family home today. The home is 5300 West on Gladys. So
Mm,
my uncle Homer, I asked him how they got to Luther South. He said, "Well, we had a choice to either go to Marshall or to
Mhm.
go to Luther South." And Granddad Neville's did not want them to go to Marshall, the violence, the fights. So they traveled from 5300 West on Gladys, which is 290 and Central,
mm-hmm.
all the way to 87th and Kedzie.
That's a long
Mm-hmm.
ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
far.
And
Yeah.
that home is still our home today. We moved south to 63rd and Stony Island, what you know as
Mm-hmm.
Parkshire East, where Chosen Few Picnics started. So we
Mm-hmm.
made that commute from 63rd and Stony, 22 blocks south to 87th, and then you had to
Hmm.
go all the way west from Stony to Kedzie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And
Yeah.
Hmm.
My
we got
first
a lot
two
of sleep.
years.
That was a
Yeah.
long ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
long
No,
ride.
my first 2 years, my mom, we had school bus service because you
Hmm.
had so many when I was there at Look the South, you had so many people that came from just so many areas of the city. And I think Paulette, you and I were talking about the fact, like, we had a high school right down the block or around the corner or a local high school. But when I went to Luther South, it was just very prestigious for you to go to this private school and get a good Christian education. So, yeah, very good. Well, ladies, I want to tell you this real quick. Cheryl, the top TV shows you were watching back then. The number one show was The Waltons, which
Hmm.
was on CBS. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was on CBS. And actually, The Waltons ran from 1972 to 1981. The Mary Tyler Moore Show ran from 1970 to 1977. The Brady Bunch was number three. They were on ABC television. They ran from 1969 to 1974. Next on the list is the Carol Burnett Show. It ran on CBS from 1967 to 1968. And number 5 on the list of 70 TV shows was Dallas. It ran on CBS from 1978 to 1991. How many people
Wow.
remember all of those shows?
I do.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Yep, I do. John Boy, and I remember all of those people. And the
Yeah.
top R&B songs back then were "Let's Stay Together" by Al Green. In 1972, it was also "Me and Mrs. Jones" by Billy Paul. The Staple Singers, "I'll Take You There," "Superstition" by Stevie Wonder, and "Ooh Girl" by the Shy Lights. And so that's what you was dancing and jamming to.
And
Cheryl, do you
don't forget
remember?
1973, Marvin Gaye, "Let's Get It On."
Yeah.
1973. And then I remember, because a lot of us were musical too. So we listened to everything. Because like I said, we listened to Benny and the Jets. We listened to Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. We listened to a lot of Midnight at the Oasis, Bette Midler singing "Do You Want to Dance?" So we listened to a variety of music, and of course, don't forget David Bowie. We listened to him. I think it was Fame.
Yes.
So we had a quite a wide breadth of music. Stairway to Heaven. And then and I love Tower of Power.
Yes.
Diamonds Sparkling in the Sand, and You're Still a Young Man. So there were a lot of
young man.
I went to see them 2 years ago, and they were still the bomb.
Yes,
Those
you're absolutely
horns
right.
are just as good as they were back then. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: despite everything that is going on with our beloved school, and we're not here to focus on any of the negative things that have happened with our beautiful school, Cheryl, what do you remember most? What would be your parting words of wisdom of what Luther South most instilled in you while you were there?
Wow, that's a good. Well, I think I had lasting relationships. I think that's the biggest thing that I'll always remember were lasting friendships, and it was a good education. It was a good education. I was challenged sometimes, and that was a good thing. I think that's about what I can think of right now.
Did you ever have my dad as a teacher?
No, I think I had Mr. Hannon for religion.
Okay.
I didn't have Mr. Dietrich.
How did you luck out?
Reverend Dietrich. It doesn't sound like I did.
Right. Look, because she'd have got up and preached with him. She'd have got up and been like, So right.
I got him.
Yeah.
I had to sit through class with him.
Uh-oh.
Look, the lady already said she was from another denomination.
Right.
She had to talk her way into that. You know, your daddy used to like to argue about religion.
If that's all it took, I would have done whatever it took to get out of there.
Your dad used to love to argue about religion.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now the one thing I had to
it
take
was his
Latin.
passion. Oh
I had to
no.
take. That's the other thing.
Love
I
him.
had to take Latin.
Oh yes.
Because when I was there, the only when I first got there, the only foreign languages they offered were German and Latin. So I took Latin, and I took either 2 years or 3 years. I can't remember. But later on, they added French, and then they added Spanish. But I took Latin. Well, I can break down the word.
Yes,
Can,
yes.
I was going to say,
And,
can
You
you
and
speak
speak it,
in
but I
Latin
can break it down.
I love it. And just so you guys know, for those of you all that are watching this, and a lot of you are not aware, but Luther South linguistic teams were so amazing that every year they did European tours, whether it was to Spain, Germany, France. The teams would win awards, just like you wouldn't believe, because they really were top notch. Linguistic
Yeah.
teams in their particular, whether it was Spanish, German, Latin, whatever it was, the
Mhm.
school actually traveled to those countries and would
Yeah.
debate and speak in other countries. So yes,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
we had strong debate teams and speech teams while I was there. I was not part of it, but we had some very strong teams during that time
hmm
too. Mhm.
hmm Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here. It's just been an honor. Paulette's going to hang out with us to join us for our 80s conversation.
Okay.
Thank you for just taking time out of your busy schedule. You are, as I said, every time you're on my show, you are royalty. Your dad, one of
Oh,
our
bless your
former
heart.
mayors here in Chicago. And this
Thank
woman,
you.
you all, has a wonderful voice. She actually performed on my holiday show. But Cheryl, we just want to say thank you so much, and God bless you, and we
Oh, thank
appreciate
you
you
for
great.
inviting me. Hello to class of 76, wherever you are.
Class of 76. Yay, we're gonna do more of these.
Oh,
Yay. All
God
right.
bless.
you.
Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
God
very
bless.
good. Oh, we love you.
Nice to meet
Absolutely.
Okay,
you.
nice meeting
Yes,
you.
lady.
And I think I saw you at the at Bar Louie when we had the get together.
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
remember seeing you there with Daphne and
Yes, I
with
was
some of
there.
the different. Yep, I remember.
I
And
was there.
Pauletta, it's nice
Good.
meeting you.
Good meeting
Yes.
you.
Once you meet this face, you'll never forget it.
That's right.
Oh, I love
Good
it. I
meeting
love,
you.
look at all this love. Look at all this Luther South love. Look at how this works.
The
Cheryl, I love you, my
energy.
friend. We'll be in
Okay,
touch
love you
soon.
too.
The
Okay.
Okay,
love.
take
Thank you,
care.
dear. All
You
right.
all
Have
have
a
a
Take
great
great
care.
night. Thank
evening.
you so
Okay,
much. Yes,
bye
ladies and
bye.
gentlemen, Miss Cheryl Sawyer McGill. Thank you so much. Father, former mayor of the city of Chicago, a famed Luther South alum, just a great woman. We just love and adore her. One of my good new besties. I do. I appreciate her. All right. So for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am Chat Daddy. I do a nightly digital show. Glad you guys are here with us. Tonight's show was designed because of my beautiful friend who's my co-host tonight, Miss Ann Dietrich, class of 87 at Luther South. For those of you all that may have been in the woods or in a jungle and don't know, Luther South is going to be torn down very soon for a peach fresh market to be built on the site. And we just did not want Luther South to go away and not really document the history of the school. When you do any research, there's no real spoken word from the student point of view, from faculty, even parents, of the history of Luther South. And it really was a great school. It boasts the fact that over 7,000 people graduated from the school. Believe it or not, isn't that a lot of people over the years? It was built in 1951 and it opened in 1951. The yearbook was called The Shield. The mascot is the Braves, and that's Braves. The school, as I said, was founded in 1951, and our school colors were red and white. You see my red and white back here in my studio tonight. Yes. Down in the box below is our good friend, Miss Paulette Rogers. She's a class of 87, but the reason why she's here with us now, we're actually going into the 80s, is that her family spans several decades of attending Luther South. And so, Paulette, we're glad to have you here. How's your twin sister? How's she doing?
Pauletta is excellent. She wanted you to know she's working noon till 8 p.m., so she couldn't be here.
Oh,
She's
Okay.
managing one of those plasma donation centers, but is having a wonderful
Nice.
time.
Yes, yes. Well, we love her so very much and tell her we appreciate her. Well, we're moving on in our show. We are now entering into the 80s. I'll give you guys some facts in just a little bit, but we thought we would invite one of the faculty to join us tonight. And we're so honored to have this gentleman here. When you think of the Chicago Bears winning team, when you think of any team in Chicago that did excessively well in the 80s, Coach Tim Warnicke was a part of that success. He was the one behind making dream teams happen. So tonight he's going to talk to us about his experience of being faculty at Luther South, as well as all of the success our athletes had at Luther South. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And look, he was only there. I thought he had been there a million years, and really he had not. In the time that he was there, he made a great impact. I did not know this. I'm thinking this gentleman, let me see if I can find my notes here real quick. He was there from 1979 to 1984. So he's definitely a superstar maker. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Tim Warnicke. Yay! Hello, Coach.
Hello.
Hello,
Nice
Coach.
to see
How are you?
guys. Hi.
Good evening.
Hi, Paulette and Ann.
How are you?
You guys were just little freshmen. You're little freshmen, I think, when I was there. Art was a graduate the year I left, right? 84?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
84.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You mentioned I was there 5 years. Big years, though, right? Really important years. We had some state championships. We had great teams in all our sports. We got some world-class athletes during those years, and it really was great to be part of that. I'm kind of an outsider here as I hear you guys all talking about. We had great teams in all our sports. We got some world-class
did we lose
during those years, and it really was. Am I still there? I'm getting some feedback.
You good? I know we can hear you better now, Coach. I don't know what happened, but go ahead. Continue with what you were saying.
All right. I was going to say, as I've been listening to you guys talking about the history, talking about Chicago, I mean, I'm kind of an outsider because I grew up here in LA, and that's where I am now. I'm actually sitting here in my classroom. Sorry for all the clutter in the back, but we do everything on Zoom now. So I'm comfortable here at my desk on my laptop. But I came from Los Angeles, and I actually attended Lutheran High School in Los Angeles, a school that was very much like Luther South. It was located then in South Central Los Angeles, and it was about 50-50 black and white. When I was a student there, our teams also competed just like Luther South. And so it was my dream to become a high school teacher and coach. And I went to Concordia University in Nebraska. And after a couple of years teaching elementary school, the head football position came up at Luther South, and I got an interview and flew out to meet the principal and the board. And next thing you know, we were moving to the south side of Chicago.
Wow!
I was a young man. Back then, and all my assistant coaches were younger than me, so we were really a young staff back then. And we look back, we had some great athletes over the years. Of course, we won the state basketball championship that year in 1980, the first year I was there. I was the freshman basketball coach that year, and so I got to sit on the end of the bench for the state championship. My claim to fame is that I taped Mike Conley's ankles before.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
That's right. But I was
Right.
mostly a spectator and just in awe of those guys and Tony Martin and Pierre Cooper and Bob
Yeah.
Gray and David Allen, and Michael Conley and Ray Nutter. You know, those top 6 players on that basketball team all went on to get a D1 basketball scholarship, and it was a wonderful time to be there. That's for sure.
Very good, Coach. What are some of your other fond memories? Because you guys were young with us, and a lot of the things we did, you guys understood us, and all of that. What would be some of your other fond memories of Luther South?
I mean, I have really fond memories of all the students, and it's amazing with Facebook now. You can still keep track of some people, and you even if you don't get a chance to see them in person, you can still communicate. You can see what they're doing with their lives. That also makes it just heartbreaking when you do hear about people who passed away. And this last year was a year in which Curtis Goodman passed away, and Jay Harper passed away. Matt Lignell just passed away a few weeks ago. These guys are just too young, in the prime of their life, and so it makes you thankful for every day that you wake up, every day that God gives us. Something that you guys may not know is that we had a really good faculty. You guys knew us as teachers, but the colleagues that I had back then, we had good camaraderie on our faculty. There were a lot of young people, a lot of young couples that we got to know. We used to have a Christmas party where we would do, what do you call it when you go around to different people's houses? We would
Christmas caroling.
No, it was we would start at somebody's house for like appetizers, and then we go to somebody else's house for the main.
I know what you're talking about.
A progressive dinner.
Dinner. Yes, absolutely.
And again, it might surprise you guys, and then maybe Ann wouldn't be surprised knowing that her dad was on the faculty as well. But we would bring along some alcohol for these progressive dinners. And Mr. McDonald, Ian McDonald, was the bus driver, and he was the designated driver. So we drove one of the school buses around. That bus was packed with faculty members going from house to house to house, having a pretty fun Christmas party.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I do too. I do too. I just do, because we were that type of school environment, people, all of that. Go ahead, Coach. What were you gonna say?
There was also another day when, in the dead of winter, the boiler went out, the heater went out, and we had no heat for the school. So school was called off around 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that. They called school off, but most of us were there. Most of the faculty had arrived already. And so we went down the street to a bar and spent the day there. And we had a good time. It reminded me of a MASH episode once long ago where they all did the same kind of thing when the power was out or something. But I don't want to give you the wrong idea, like we were always doing that.
You know what, Mr. Wernicke, we're all human.
That's right. That's right. That's all right. Look,
Like
we're old enough.
We're all human.
Yeah,
but that definitely was
party bus.
One of the memories. I loved all the Christmas concerts. I loved all the spring musicals. I don't know if you remember, but Pastor Ramirez especially really upped the drama program, and we had some outstanding musicals. And of course, Luther South kids had many talents. And so I remember some of those musicals, but they didn't always necessarily have enough men for some of the the parts, and so they
Yep.
recruited me and Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Fody. I think even Mr. Asterreich. We were in the Music Man, the barbershop quartet, and we got to
Yep.
play. I got to play act even back then, and some of you know that I do a little Hollywood stuff now too, and I like to think I got my start there on the stage at Luther South in those spring musicals. Yes, got my my drama start. That's for sure.
Very nice, very nice. So, Coach, nowadays you're teaching, you're back in California. We're just so excited that you were able to join us tonight and just help us to understand all of this. Now, Ann, you and I have what we compiled of a list of people who were famous alumni. And so before we let Coach go, let's kind of talk about this list of people. And you know, we didn't put this list together. This is a list that we found, and by no means are we trying to exclude anyone. This is what we found published about Luther South. Everybody was a superstar at the school, in my opinion. And go right ahead with your list.
Okay. It's not in any chronological order either.
Right.
I've got 1981, obviously, Mike Connolly, Sr., Olympic triple gold medalist. 1990, Lonnie Rashid Lynn, Common, rapper and actor. 2000, Jabari Knowledge Evans, rapper. 1990, Steve Connolly, former NFL linebacker. 1968, Arnie Freetag, photographer. 1996, Kel Mitchell, actor. 1978, Dr. Valerie Roberson, former president of Olive Harvey College, now leads the Roxbury Community College in Boston. 1981, Chris Bowden, sports reporter, NBC Sports Chicago. And I don't have a year, but I want to say Scoop Jackson. Wasn't he also 1981?
I want to say so as well,
Yes.
too. And he's a famed writer. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's a writer.
Yes.
Yeah,
If we've missed anyone, please forgive us. This is just what we pulled up, but we do want to say thank you to everyone who has become lawyers, doctors, elected officials, educators, you name it. Luther South produced just amazing people that went on to do incredible things. So forgive us if we didn't mention other notables, but this was the list we were able to develop. Coach, what do you think about that list? That's impressive.
Yeah, that's an impressive list for sure. I was going to add a couple people to that list, just the people that I know a little bit about. Delwyn Jones, class of 83, is National Community College Basketball Coach of the Year. He's the coach at Marine Valley College and has 25 straight years of championships and stuff. So Delwyn has really, done well for himself there. Jeff Taveja is your class of 84.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Jeff is a cool guy. He actually was on my radio show, and he's a great guy. Yes, he is.
And he's made a little name for himself as a nationally known juggler as well. And his son is also breaking into that field. I actually do a little juggling myself, and when Jeff was in school, he had a study hall, and it was one class period in the middle of the morning that I happened to have a free period also. And so he asked if I would be his sponsor to come into the gym for him to practice juggling. And because the principal said, oh, you can't be out of class without, supervision. And so he was able to come into the gym and practice his juggling and ride his unicycle around the gym floor and do all of that. And I could juggle a little bit then too. And so I practiced with him, and it actually improved my juggling skills. And I learned how to ride that tall unicycle with him. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun back then too. And I like to see clips every now and then of him on some cruise ship or filling some, stadium doing his juggling. So
We
Yes.
actually, there was actually a group of us that took a cruise
cruise.
from Luther. And we made sure that we went on when Jeff was on there.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
we all got to sit in the audience, and it was really nice because we were all like the closest to the stage, and he made us like a part of the audience. It was really cool. It was so
Yes.
cool. And afterwards,
Yes.
we all took pictures, and it was very nice.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, Jeff knows about tonight. I did reach out to him. He's actually started a new show in the Fort Lauderdale area because of COVID. Cruise ships are not going out. And I plan on going to check out his new show in Fort Lauderdale soon. So I'll report back to everybody, and maybe we can have him as a guest on this show as well, too. But you're right. He's an amazing guy who has traveled all over the world and has performed for thousands of people all over the world. You're right. All right. Well, with that being said, yes, sir.
One thing in parting, I was able to come back to Luther South about a year and a half ago in the fall. Mike Wilson, that's somebody we didn't mention. Mike Wilson, class of 86, I think, also played in the NFL for a little bit. And he works for actually the NFL Players Association, and he arranged a Luther South Braves football reunion in October of 2019, and I was able to come out and meet with those guys. There were about 40 of us one afternoon that we got together. In fact, Art, I sent you the picture in Messenger.
Yes.
There. I don't know.
Yes, you did. You did. They were great. Yeah, I just didn't have time to upload them, but these are all, I'll post them on all of the pages, on the social media pages tonight. Yes.
All right, that's great. So that was a great.
I will handle that.
That was a great event that I was really happy to be able to come and do.
Yes, very good. Coach, in closing, what would you like to say to everyone tonight? We really appreciate you, and God bless you for being here. What would you like to say to everyone?
It's been 40 years, but we stay together by God's grace. Fond memories. As an old guy, I would
bite your tongue. I'm only 21.
If I had it to do over again, there would be some things I would do differently. I think teachers always have to do that fine line between, being a disciplinarian and trying to connect with your students as well. And so I look back on that and I think, man, I would have been more intentional, I think, about, showing kids, how much you care for them and that kind of a thing. You look back on it years later, 40 years later, and man, I love those kids that were on my teams, that I had in the classroom. Those were great times, special times, and I'm so thankful that you asked me to come on.
It is a pleasure, sir. It was an honor when you accepted. I was just so glad, and I said, well, I appreciate you for doing so, and it was just perfect to have you. And I knew you could at least talk about that time when the sports was the biggest thing going for Luther South. Not that we didn't have other things, but our sports, dominated the news back then. It really did.
Yep.
Before you go, my freshman year, Luther South got an award for excellence in education. Do you remember what it was for?
I don't remember.
I can't either, but I know we got some kind of. I wish my dad was alive because I know he'd know what it was, and I can't. I know we had like a banner in the gym, and we had this big celebration, and it was this whole big thing, and it was Paulette and I's freshman year.
I imagine
remember.
It's possible.
Yeah, it was our freshman year.
It's possible at that time that I know the Lutheran Church was accrediting schools, and they were probably identifying, top 5 Lutheran high schools or something like that. and it wouldn't have been out of the question for it to have been
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just trying
All
to,
right.
I wanted to know what it was for.
Yes.
Inquiring minds. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Coach Tim
Yes. Thank
Warnke
you.
from coming
Thank you,
all the way from
Bud.
It was
California to
nice to
join us
see you.
tonight.
Nice
God
to
bless
see
you
you,
so much,
Paulette.
Coach.
And
Great story. Party bus.
Yes.
Great story.
We'll never forget the party bus. Thank you,
Who
Coach.
knew?
God bless. And I'll post those pictures tonight. I promise you that. Okay.
all right, thank you so much.
Take care. God bless. All right. Thank you. That was Coach Tim Warnicke, you guys. Yay. Ladies, how you doing so far? We doing okay? Paulette, you doing all right down there? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
We,
well.
we,
Oh,
we need to have our own party bus.
well, now we're going into celebrating more of the 80s. And one of my former classmates, who was a pom-pom girl, a wonderful young lady, Cynthia Sin, she's joining us tonight. She has her cheerleading picture up here. I love it. Hey, Sin, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you? It's good to hear
Good.
your voice. How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Let me get my regular screen up here.
Oh, fabulous. Look, you look like the cheerleading picture. You look great. Yay.
I wish. I think that was
Beautiful.
Ann. I think that was Ann saying, "Yeah, we're just 21. Yeah, let's not rush us."
That's all right.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm
I
only
am so
21.
glad. Yes, just glad you could be here with us tonight. Tonight, we're trying to celebrate the school known as Luther South. We want to just talk about just the memories. I was so glad when I got your email. Just tell everybody just what Luther South meant to you when you were there. Go right ahead.
Thank you for the invitation to reflect on the best years of my life. I don't remember any bad teachers. The faculty at Luther South were quality. They invested in us. Special kudos to the science department, Mr. Dahl, Dr. Haas, and the rest of the science teachers who fertilized the soil that created the clinical research scientist that I am today.
Wow, nice.
The serving
Blessing.
on the as a captain on the pom pom squad, Miss Lesh taught me leadership. I really feel that all of the faculty invested in the student body, and the student body invested in each other. We were able to learn in a safe environment, in my opinion.
Mhm, mhm.
One of my fondest memories was serving as the statistician for the basketball team. Just that opportunity to serve and make a valuable contribution engendered my self worth. I think that the Christian legacy of Luther High School South will remain for generations. Luther South is not a building, it is us.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I agree with you 100%. And that's why I said to Ann, tonight was important that we do something like this. You're right. It's not about that building. It's about people that were able to come together and share great memories about the building, the land, all of that. And you said it just
And the
perfectly. Well,
family.
lady, yes, and the family aspect of it. Ladies, I want to have some fun with you all. 80s were the time of designer jeans, designer purses. To go to Luther South, you were considered the it back then. We were the private school bougie kids back then, all of that. And so, Paulette, I want to talk to you first, and I kind of want to get that, and then Sin. Ladies, it was a fashion show. Cheryl was talking about skirts being 4 inches above your knee. Luther South was a fashion show in the 80s. Paulette, what do you feel about that?
It really was. It wasn't uncommon that we would, when we had early dismissal, we would leave school, jump on the bus, go downtown to Water Tower to get our polo shirts,
Oh, come
Stop by
on,
the
come on.
Gucci store and get that $40 Gucci tote to go with our Guess jeans. The Guess jeans that we had to really plead with our dad about the fact that we had to have designer jeans, and we'd leave notes on his medicine cabinet in the bathroom, post-it notes saying, there's a party at so and so place on Friday. We gotta have our Guess jeans and our Gucci totes. And dad would say, I need to tell you, all jeans are designed. I don't know why you need to have them. You're just going to have to wear Levi's or Wranglers. These are designer jeans. And he'd show us his jeans and we'd squawk at them. And we didn't know we'd get those jeans, but we'd leave that note by Thursday evening and wake up Friday morning, and that $50 was inside the medicine cabinet. So we had what we needed, but we had to listen to that speech
And
about
your
Right.
dad had it times two.
and what was on
Yes,
sale.
yes,
It
absolutely.
was nothing but love.
Look, and I love that
And a
story,
lot of
but I think
sacrifice.
oh, a lot of sacrifice. Are you kidding me? Some of our parents had second jobs. It was not cheap to go to Luther South when we went there, and
No.
it really was a badge of honor when your
Mhm.
parents could afford for you to go to Luther South. And I like your story about the coach purses. You want to
Oh my
tell
God.
that was my favorite story about the coach purses.
I tell everybody this. I got my love of Coach purses to this day from all my friends from Luther South. I had no idea what they were before Luther South. And when I started going there, I was like, oh, what is that? And I would ask everybody, everybody had they were the long, the real thin strap, and everybody had them. They were the real thin, like longer, but real thin purse. Everybody had them. Everybody, and I'm like, what is that? What is it? And then the belts. Everybody had Coach belts, and I was just like, what is that? What is that? And I go, Dad, I gotta have that. Everybody else has them, and my dad would look at me and go, well, how much does it cost? And I'd be like, I don't know. Can we go get it? Can we go buy one? And he'd look at me and be like, I don't know, Ann. And I'd be like, please, please, please. And I tell you to this day, hello, Coach Purse.
Hello, Coach Purse.
I have the day. And it's purple. Every time I see purple Coach, I'm like, ching, mine, ching. I got all my friends into Coach because of Luther South. It's horrible. It's horrible. I haven't
So now,
The things
ladies,
that last.
you know what I'm thinking, ladies, is that now Coach owe us a lot of money. I'm thinking, I'm thinking finances now. Yeah, I'm thinking about all the trends that were set at Luther South.
Yep.
How much money was spent just out of Luther South that we really, we should have sponsors for whatever we do from this point on. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I had no clue what Coach was. I had no clue what Louis Vuitton was. I had no clue what any of this was. Here's this naive, very naive little white girl that had no fashion sense whatsoever. None.
Right.
I went to private school. We had a uniform, but it wasn't a uniform. You just couldn't wear advertising on your cloths. And you couldn't wear clogs. You couldn't wear clogs, and you couldn't wear advertising.
Right.
Otherwise, you could wear just about anything. And
now
then I went to Luther South and got educated in fashion.
Now, Sin actually hung out. Sin hung out with the beautiful crowd. She hung out with the trendsetters. So now, Sin, do you remember some of the outfits that you trendsetters would wear? We had to have matching polos. We had to have penny loafers. What else? What else?
Yeah.
Just between the polos and the Izod's, had to have that cardigan sweater or whatever, pullover, whatever. Yeah, those are the two main brand names that I can recall. And then, a fresh pair of Levi's. Come on.
Well, I know in 87, we had Forenza.
Yeah.
What else? Did
Then
we
some
have?
of the some of the other
We had tree
designers came on.
torn. We had tree torn shoes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
We had
Wow.
we
You
had
know they still make a couple tree torns now.
we had Dina jeans that zipped in the back by your. They had the little zipper in the back with the bow. Those were Zena jeans.
Uh-huh.
Let me think. What else do we have? What I don't remember what the jeans were cold, but remember we had to fold them up so that they were folded by your ankle.
Cuffs and jeans.
Your
I
jeans?
don't remember the names.
Yes.
All
we had
right.
to
So
do
now,
that.
ladies,
Oh man, I don't know.
we gonna move away from fashion real quick. I want
Oh,
to talk
God.
about Luther South cafeteria food. What was your
Oh.
favorite item from the Luther South cafeteria? And you know, Paulette, you and I both said we had a favorite lady in that cafeteria who we loved and adored. So what was your favorite food from that? Paulette, let's talk about our favorite lady in that cafeteria.
Irma.
On the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think
want
that was
fries?
everybody. Yeah.
Fries?
Yeah, I think it was a fries. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I can remember. The fries.
Yes, and pizza. The pizza was off the
Yes.
chain. Pizza was good. Yeah. Any
'Cause
other
wasn't it
memories of the
like
cafeteria?
one big tray of pizza and then they just cut it into those squares?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a sheet
That
of
was good.
pizza. It was
Sheet of pizza.
sausage, and it was really good. And pizza went fast on Fridays. I think
Yeah.
that's when we had pizza. Yes, it was on Fridays. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Where did you guys go to driver's ed when you were there? Does anybody remember where you took driver's ed? Because we didn't have driver's ed. We did
didn't.
not have
CVS.
cosmetology. Huh?
There was a teacher that came to, I thought, to our building for the classroom part, and then to take the test and the little driving, we had to go outside to CVS.
You are correct. You are correct. Beautiful
And-
memory. You're absolutely right. Driver's ed was in one of the trailers, and it was on a Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had to, because I went to Bogan for my on the road training. Right. You're absolutely
My
right.
driver's ed teacher was the Reverend Adam A. Dietrich. That's who it was.
A gangster taught you how to drive. A gangster taught you how to drive. That's what that was. Yeah. That was a gangster that taught you how to drive. Yes, yes, absolutely. So, ladies, I want to really get closing thoughts from you about just as the years go by, we've lost quite a few of our classmates. You know, of course, thank God for social media and things like this. We're able to connect again. But I really do want to get, you know, Paulette, as well as seeing your closing thoughts of just those memories again, and just maybe anything else you want to share. I'm going to go with you first, Sin.
I think just being able to stay connected, because we are, you know, I don't want to say dying off, but we're getting older. We're losing our, you know, some of the memories, and it's best to hold on to the memories by just sharing life even today, because again, I feel like we are a family that will last forever. And the way to keep that going is just keep in touch. That's my last thought.
Oh, I love it. I do. I really appreciate that. Paulette, my friend, let's get your closing thoughts on everything and any of the things you want to mention before we let you go. Go right ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
We can. We can hear you perfectly. Yes.
Awesome. I think that Luther South certainly gave us a quality education. The staff was very nurturing. Pastor Dietrich, Coach Behrens, you know, Coach Holt. We just had a strong support system. And they were quite interested, you know, in us producing in the classroom, but us delivering on the court or outside, albeit speech, French, whatever, I really felt like we had support. Um, our families, connectedness at church, it felt like, routine. We had to learn catechisms and that sort of thing and learn the books of the Bible. But I think what that taught us was the ability as individuals to reflect and be pensive about life's experiences. Life
Hmm.
happens, things go wrong, but that willingness to get up and try again. We it's think it's really about mindset. You either have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And I think that
Hmm.
growth mindset, the willingness, the intuition, the intuitive self-talk every morning that we get up and keep going, I think that started at Luther South. We developed at that institution. And the
Hmm.
friendships, I rely on them today.
Hmm.
I
That
so
was
appreciate
beautiful.
that.
Yes, I do too. I really do. I appreciate you guys for your willingness tonight. I appreciate you all understanding what my vision was with this. Again, if my good friend Ann Dietrich had not called me with a problem and was concerned about something, and and this is how this all worked out. And I just want to thank everyone who's done anything on behalf of Luther South and to help Luther South. Angie Ford has been quite instrumental in trying to help with the artifacts that are still in the school, and just a lot of different people. But tonight I knew I wanted to do this so that we would be able to get our history out there and people understand Luther South was really a great school and a lot of wonderful people who loved each other. And so that's what this was all about tonight. It was. So, ladies, I
Amen.
love you
Awesome
both.
job, Art.
Thank you.
We love you
And look,
too.
once COVID is over, I'm gonna throw a big party and we'll all have an
Okay.
in-person reunion. We'll do it. We'll all be fabulous because we sick of these screen reunions, but thank God we're able to do this. So yes, thank you, ladies. I love you both so much. Thank you.
Much
From the
love.
class of
Much
Love
love.
you
84,
too.
Madam
See you
Cheerleader,
soon,
Miss
Annie.
Sin, yes, and class of 87, Paulette, the twins. We love
See
both
you
of you ladies.
soon.
God bless. Thank you. Love you both. Have a great night. Oh, that was
You
great, Ann. How
too.
you
Thank
doing so far as the co-host? Bye-bye.
Take
Love
care.
you.
I'm
All
fine.
right.
I'm
Are you
fine.
good? See?
I think
See?
yes, and you know what? I just want to add a little bit to what they both said. Luther
Uh-huh.
South taught us how to love each other as
Mm-hmm.
a family. It had that Christian Lutheran
Yep.
background, and it taught
Yep.
us to just care, and the
Yep.
teachers did care about us. They wanted us to know, I'm here for you academically and socially. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
do well in school, but I also care that you make it in
Mm-hmm.
life, that you
Mm-hmm.
you do your best and get out there and make yourself into something. I want to mold you into what you need to be and ready for the world.
Yes. Yes. Well,
The
and
friends
you
that
and
I
I,
made there are going to be my friends forever, as far as I'm concerned, and friends
absolutely.
become family.
Yes. Well, Ann, my favorite song I sing to you every time we talk. They know we are Christians by our love. And that's just been my mantra, ever since I attended Luther South, that no matter what it is, how bad things may get, whatever, they will know we are a Christian by our love. And so, that's why we agreed to do this tonight, was just to
Yeah.
kind of bring everybody together in the name of love. And so it worked. So I appreciate you so much, my friend, for just bringing this to me. Thank you so much. For those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. My lights are red and white in my studio tonight because I am a former Luther South alum. I graduated in 1984. Tonight, we've gone back down memory lane just to reflect on everything that was Luther South. I kind of put all this together in the last 2 weeks. This was not an easy task. I normally book guests on my show in 3 emails. This took a little more time, but I'm glad I did this tonight. It was an honor and a pleasure. I just wanted our history spoken. I want people to know what a great school. So our next two guests this evening, they were a part of the late 90s, early 2000s. For many of us, we like, what? We were long gone from Luther South then. And so tonight we have a gentleman who is a 2003 graduate of Luther South. And then we're also going to introduce you to a wonderful lady who she is with the Greater Auburn Development Association, known as GADA, but she also is the parent of a child that attended Luther South during that time. And we're just honored to have both of these people here to kind of give us a feel of what Luther South was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Miss Shawn Pinkston. Yay, is she there? Yep, let's add her in. How are you, Shawn? Good evening. How you doing? You there? Can she hear us? Uh-oh. Are you there? Can you hear us? Uh-oh. We can't hear you. Oh, wait, let's see. We need to unmute you. Let me do this. Oh, we can hear you now. Yay, we can hear you. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. A pleasure to have you here with us this evening. You and I have been communicating back and forth.
I'm good.
So it's an honor to have
How's
you here.
everybody?
Good, good, very good. And then let me bring in a gentleman who was a 2003 graduate of Luther South, Mr. Jim, and I'm gonna make sure I'm saying his last name correct, is Blissett the Third. I think I said it correctly. Let me make sure. Good evening, sir. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Good evening, Jim Blissett. Close enough though. Thank you so much.
Jim Blissett. That's right. I knew it was that. That's right. Very good. Well, it is a pleasure to have both of you here tonight. Thank you for being a part of this historic broadcast. We just wanted to cover the entire history of the school. Jim, I'm going to talk to you first because you were a student late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so please just share with us who you are, a little bit about your life, and then what was your experience at Luther South?
Definitely. All right. My name is Jim Blissett. I started Luther South in '97. I enrolled in the junior high. My sister attended there prior to my enrollment. But Luther South was just a great opportunity for me to expose me to the world. I grew up in the Inglewood community. I went to like the epitome of a public school, George Gershwin Mathematics, Mathematics and Science Academy, and we were encouraged to seek out a junior high. And for me, considering my sister went through the experience just a year prior, it made sense for me to go ahead and follow her to South. And it just gave me an opportunity to explore who I was at the time. I was coming out of a community where there was very little diverse reflections. We had no exposure to much outside of our community and the things our parents were able to teach us. But South grounded me in a spiritual pursuit of knowledge, also rooted in an exchange of intellectual discourse. We had strong faculty, even, in 2003, but even more so in junior high, just the rigor of the work, just the participation in sports, the opportunity to participate in a music program. And we had just automatic priority, right? Because of the low numbers. In the end, maybe the low numbers was a bit of a harm for the school, but in the moment, it allowed me to just really develop myself with close attention, not only from my direct peers, but also faculty and staff, the parents of my classmates, so on and so forth. It was an awesome experience. But leaving South, I went on to go to college, pursue my master's degree, and ultimately I ended up as an administrator with the Urban League. Presently working with Chicago Public Schools, managing post-secondary planning throughout the district.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's that's good Luther South stock right there. Yes, amen. That's what I'm talking about. Right. And by the way, I do this and do that and do this. Because see, you have to keep in mind, Jim, we knew nothing about a 7th and 8th grade school. We were strictly a high school. I had heard that they had started, doing 7th and 8th grade to help prepare young people for the high school. And it's just unfortunate the school did not continue to do what it needed to do. But to hear you just share a story of just, how great it was and how it helped you, it really touches my heart in many ways. I'm sure Ann feels the same way too, right, Ann?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And I would be
Go ahead.
just to say, Mr. Fody and Mr. Anderley, two Luther South, just giants. Mr. Fody had just history back to I think the '60s with South, and Mr. Anderley came out at some point in the late '80s or early '90s. But he was
Mhm.
another just individual rich in Luther South's tradition and cultures. Yep.
There were
Yes, very
two
nice.
Underly boys that went there when my
Paul
brother
and
was
Todd.
there. Yeah. Oh, I wonder. My little brother graduated in '96.
Was it Todd? I
Mm.
know Miss Anderley had a younger brother named Todd Anderley. He would come in the
I
'60s,
don't
but I think there was a
remember.
large family, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Mm.
there was an Underly there when I was there in the '80s, but he was younger than me, and I graduated in '87.
Then it was probably Paul, Mr. Anderley.
It
Paul
might have
Anderley.
been.
Yeah, more than likely.
Mhm.
More than likely. I think he was
Mhm.
at one point the principal at Oakline Elementary. I think he's now the superintendent of schools at Oakline, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
I'm
Mm.
gonna look him up in my.
Okay. Right. Another great success story. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Sean is actually joining us tonight because she is actually a parent of a former Luther South student, but she also is with a wonderful association that is really concerned about the neighborhood and community. Sean and I connected, and when I talked to her, I said, listen, Sean, we understand that Pete's is coming, but what people don't understand is Luther South had a phenomenal history, legacy. She's not from Chicago. So imagine being new to the city, enrolling a child there. She had heard amazing things, and I'm going to let her explain her story. But we also want the people who are building Pete's on that land to do something that we're able to remember our school, whether it cornerstone, a garden, donate to the needy, whatever it is. We want that school not just to be a parking lot in a grocery store, but that somehow one of us could walk in there and touch something and say, my Lord, this was the brick from our school. My Lord, this was the plaque. This was something that we could tell our children. We know that things have to move forward, but we also want to remember the past. Sean, good evening. Just tell us your past story and then, what you want to talk about with this.
Well, you definitely pretty much hit it on the head. I'm not from Chicago. I'm from Milwaukee originally, and heard all the stories. Well, not the ones you guys told today. I didn't hear any of that. It was on the line though. But today, I mean, it's just a sentiment to what actually made me make the decision to put my son there in the 9th grade. He came from Owen Scholastic Academy, another stellar school in the community. And we're all about education as parents, my husband and I. So Luther South was right there at the top of the cream for the schools that we were deciding on based on what we had heard, all of the similar stories to what you guys told. And then unfortunately, like you said, it just didn't pan out to be that way. So naturally, we disenrolled him and enrolled him into another school. But hearing what you all are saying right now, and also what you just ended on, that's a great idea. Having a brick or something built into what Pete's is going to bring, or something to actually have you guys have some type of memorabilia about your history. I think that's a phenomenal idea. And the Greater Ashburn Development Association would love to help cohort with you on making that happen.
Mm-hmm. Look, we want something. We want something more than just a pot of greens, and you know what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. And we're happy about the fact that Pete's is coming. It's definitely well needed in the community. But I think that sentiment would really be a huge, huge honor to all of you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for people that may not even just be familiar, Jim, especially with you, what were some of your fondest memories of the school? I know the population was smaller, but did you guys still do things to celebrate? We used to have some of the best sock hops. I'm dating myself. Some of the best gym parties, all of that. What did you all do?
Of course, all the traditional parties, it was the rite of passage, homecoming. But what I remember most, and keep in mind, like all of my friends today were my high school friends, all right? And we always reminisce about these things. But band tours with Miss Mason, and I played the tuba from 7th grade all the way through 12th. But just, freshman year, we had the opportunity to go to Las Vegas. We traveled to places as small as Minnesota. But just to get out of the house at 14 years old, 15 years old, jumping on airplanes with my peers, it was just amazing. Having an opportunity to participate in sports. We all knew that Luther South's track and field was just a powerhouse, throughout the 90s, 80s, 70s, pretty much the duration of the history. But by the time I got there, it was kind of winding down. I would say that initial class, 99, 2000, Daniel Rush and Shannon Armstrong, Marvin Covington took us to third place in state in track and field behind Leo High School, who was, one of our rivals on the track. But, that track and field culture, basketball season, Mr. Rainey, who many of the Luther South alumni remember him as a gym coach throughout the 80s. He was also our head basketball coach, and he eventually became the principal of Luther South. So, I actually worked with a woman who graduated from Luther South in 93. And when I told her Mr. Rainey was our principal, she kind of laughed a bit and just kind of reminisced and thought about, what he must have grown into from the time, she was there and left. But those, that music program and sports, traveling out to just these small cornfield towns, I would have never had an opportunity to see Wheaton Academy, Chicago Christian, the private school league. I just have fond memories of all of those things. And, one thing a lot of people, don't realize about Luther South, although it was a religious Lutheran school, just again, just the kind of progressive nature of the school can't be forgotten. I remember we had this debate within the school about actually changing our mascot, Braves with an S, to Brave, considering the debate about Native American culture and paying honor and homage to their culture. So we opted to no longer use the Indian head, quote unquote Indian head, and the S was dropped from Luther South. So, football games, having the pride at the end of the national anthem, screaming out Brave, it made that motto, that mantra more relevant, dropping that S. So it's something, I try to remind folks of. But it was an amazing time, an amazing experience. The tuition, I remember my father working hard as ever to make the tuition so Mrs. Fody wouldn't pull me out of class when the tuition was late. But just a lot of fond memories, man, with my friends, half a days, going to the parks in the community, our experimentation, what teenagers do at the time. But it was always so safe because everyone knew everyone respected everyone ultimately. And our families were just so involved. So, those are the things I remember, just the relationships I continue with today. And just the wonderful course of, academic support, which taught me how to think, early on, the love of knowledge, the love of reading, the love of spirituality. These are the things that were kind of, planted in me as a young boy, teenager, and emerging adult. So I'll never forget these things. Yeah.
Oh my God! Look, Ann, don't you start crying because I'm about to start crying. Come on, Ann.
Cry.
Right. We both about to cry.
I'm upset. We got the short end of the stick. I wanted all of that.
And we were one of those
right.
We saw Mr. Schroeder leave. We saw Mr. A. Strike retire. We saw Mr. Schultz retire. We saw Mr. Strike, as a janitor, as opposed to being an administrator. Mr. Christoph, like we were the last class I feel who had the remnants of the original Luther South, and unfortunately, a lot of those people retired, and and then we had like these kind of younger teachers come in, and things kind of shifted, and we saw it like that 03 early transition in the millennium. We saw it and we felt it. Yep.
Right. Somebody did have a question of when was the debate about the Braves and the Brave, because I had heard that as well too, and I said, oh, that's right, you should drop that S, because even tonight I was going to drop it. So Jim, do you know what year that was about that debate of being politically correct about that? Because I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah, that must have been sophomore or junior year, so that would be 01 or 02. Either 2001, 2002.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So, Sean, I want to find out from you, what can we do? I told you, please put me down to be able to help in any way with, that we can do something that, Pete's will recognize us when that building is finished or done, whether it's plaque, whatever. Is there anything else that we as former alum can do to help support you or work in conjunction with you?
Well, you know what I would say, with this kind of just being fresh to hear, but definitely a good idea. Let's put something together, some type of task force or something, with the
Okay.
alumni and our team and our board, and kind of see what we can come up with to see what will be at the strongest arm to kind of, advocate for making something happen. I'm with it.
Yay, yay. All right. Well, very good. We apologize that you were a parent that did not get that, other experience, but we appreciate you for at least putting your child in our former high school.
Absolutely. And I appreciate all your stories and everything, man. It definitely makes me warm-hearted to know that I went in with good intentions and what I heard was actually true. It's just like Jim said, things just happened to have shifted at that point. So still has a great mark in the community. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to you both. Ann, is there anything you want to say to our last two? Well, no, we actually have two more guests, but anything to these two guests? Yes.
Well, thank you for coming. I mean, Luther South was my life. I mean, I grew up there. I learned how to walk there. I made friends for life there. I was not raised with color. And in the 80s, when I was there, I talked to everybody and I didn't care. You could be green, you could be pink, you could be green with purple polka dots. And I didn't care. And I got in trouble from people that I shouldn't have. And it didn't matter to me, because my father did not raise me to be that way. And I made lifelong friends, and those lifelong friends have become family. And I'm just sad that the place where I grew up is just now going to be a supermarket.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'll be all right with it. It's like, when your house is torn down and they build something else.
Yeah.
I think I spent more time in Luther South than I did in my house.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I'm curious also, what's going to happen to all of the land? Like, will all of the premises be taken up by the grocery store, with the community organization? Like, I'm curious as to what you guys are advocating for with the total scope of the land back there. So much land.
Well, now, real quick, Jim, did you know that the land actually went further than maybe when you were there? Where the Social Security building was Luther South land. Luther South land, we actually even had maybe 3 or 4 tennis courts. Even where that radio transmitter, if I'm not mistaken, may have belonged.
That was Luther South. That was. I always heard that was Luther South as well. Yeah, I did hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. We had quite a bit of land, man. I still remember our campus laps doing track and field around all of it. The cinder track that, I remember state meets. I still have my little cinders in a bottle from when we went downstate. So many fond memories, man. So many fond memories. Yeah.
I think
this was great.
This was a small school. Everybody just becomes family because it was so small. You could just bond with everybody. You didn't have 1,000 in every class. You had only 100 in each class, which made it much easier to have that bond with everybody. And I think that's why we were so close.
Yeah.
Yes, very true. Well, Sean, I look forward to working with you, and we'll get some other people and see what we can do to, make something happen and support new effort. But we at least wanted you to know that our school had history and people that love the school.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I see you over there waving. I'll definitely be in touch with Art. Make sure we all collaborate and communicate on what's next. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. God bless you. We appreciate you guys.
God bless you all.
Jim, brother, we appreciate you too. All right. Thank you, Jim. You did an outstanding job. You both did. Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
All right. That was great. All right, you two, thank you so very much. Boy, oh boy, this has been a great show tonight. Don't go anywhere, you guys. We still have more of the show. We're going to talk to two people who were a part of the final days of Luther High School South. Just two exceptional people. And the beautiful part about this story that we've been telling tonight is that these two beautiful people even found love in each other. So that's another thing. Luther South was known for wonderful couples, tumultuous relationships, just all of that good stuff, because they knew we were Christians by our love, right? Right, Ed? Isn't that how that works?
Yep. And
yes.
then
All right. Well,
I said, and then some.
and then some. All right. Well, our last guest this evening, let me pull up the information about them. We have a young lady who actually graduated in the class of 10. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the last class at Luther South. And then a gentleman who graduated in 07. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Miss Taylor Poindexter and Mr. Marquise Williams. Yay! Hello, you two. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good.
Welcome,
it's a pleasure to have
welcome.
both of you here. How are you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Well, Marquise, you and I are no strangers to each other. You really are like my younger brother. You and I both battle with an illness that we've overcome. You were actually on my radio show, just a super smart guy. You've actually even competed on national television. Your beautiful fiance, who's a Luther South graduate, you two are getting married. I'm excited about all that. I've been in all of y'all business on social media. I want you both to introduce yourselves, tell everybody a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll talk about your Luther South experience. We'll start off with you first, Marquise, because you, Marquise, I couldn't say it that quick, because you graduated in 2007. Go right ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marquise Williams. I actually started in 2003 at Luther South. I graduated 2007. We graduated with 64 people in our class, and I was actually smack dab in the middle of everybody in terms of GPA. So that's a funny thing to me. While there, I played football, I played basketball, I ran track, I played baseball my last 2 years. I have a lot of fond memories of the school, a lot of fond memories with my classmates. Meeting my fiance was one of the highlights. So the school is very near and dear to me. I definitely enjoyed my 4 years there.
Very good. And Miss Taylor, I need to talk to you now. So you were the last class that graduated from Luther South. So tell us about yourself, and then let's talk about that last class to cross over at that school. Go right ahead.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Poindexter. I'm actually, I like to say, a product of Luther South Junior High. I graduated in 06, and then I am class of 2010. I'm not the last class. There was it's actually one more class that graduated after me in 2011, but I guess you could say second to last.
Okay.
We can just say now, you're part of the last. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. And no diss to 2011. We so sorry. I thought I had got the last. But now, Taylor, what was the school like when you were there? And we're trying to keep this positive, but we really do want to know, how was it? And of course, you are a wonderful product of our school, but what was it like?
First, I would say this. Part of it was like a big transition, because during my class, which was sometime during my junior year, going into my senior year, that's when I think it's a Lutheran board of ed was trying to decide, like in the middle of my junior year, was the school still gonna be open? So it made it made on ABC7 all the news stuff. So they had to make a decision to keep the school open. So I guess technically you could say I was the last class of Luther South before it transitioned to the new Luther South, the new Luther School of Math, Science, and Performing Arts.
Okay.
So during that whole transition, it was 50-50. It had its good parts and bad parts, but majority good. Like some of my class, it was a small class. My freshman year started off with 64. My graduating class ended up like less than 10 people.
Wow.
And the graduating class also was combined with the junior high at the time too. I think that was around the time period they started to add sixth grade to it too. So it was just like a whole change, trying to maneuver, like making sure that transcripts was getting transferred over and everything like that. But despite doing all that, it was fun times. Like we still had the basketball team, the softball, volleyball, track, cross country, and everything like that. So it was fun times.
Very good. So now, how did you two fall in love in the hallways of Luther South? We love stories about Luther South. So how did this all happen?
Well, it's actually a funny story, and we joke about it all the time. So I was actually a young senior, so I was a year ahead of where I was supposed to be in terms of the grade I was supposed to be in. So I actually asked her out on a date, and not only did she not tell me no, she never gave me an answer.
Ooh.
What?
Well.
So at the time I just kind of took it as a loss.
Okay.
So years later, we're both in a brother sister sorority. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta. So we actually ended up running into each other at a Greek picnic, and we just started talking, and it just went from there.
Oh, okay. I love it. And so now you guys are engaged, and have you set a date? And I'm just glad to hear that love came out of the final days of Luther South. That's all that does my heart good.
Yes, we have a date of July 16th of next year.
Yay! Very good. Very, very good. So I want to ask you two, if we were to resurrect a Luther South again and try to get us another good Christian school, would you both come back and try to help the students and help the school?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yay!
Yay. See there. See. And anything you want to say to our guests?
No, then you'll make me cry.
That's what look, and that helps my ratings, honey. Crying helps in these type of
God,
shows.
I'm crying already.
that helps my ratings, honey. Please cry. You want me to hand you an onion? Yes.
No,
right.
I don't want to cry.
I know. We want that big old blubber and cry. We need it. We do. No. Well, in closing,
go first.
Yes. In closing, is there anything that you both want to say? We really shining examples. We are so appreciative that our school did continue on, and that you both, got stellar educations, and you both met each other in love. Taylor, in closing, what do you want to say to everybody?
I just want to say to everybody, I'm going to miss Luther South. I actually take it kind of hard because, like I said, I started from junior high, and it's like a part of my childhood. It's like leaving. So I already lost like immediate family members. Like my mom was a big part of it. My father, whenever he came around, he'd come to basketball games whenever he could. And shout outs to like the rest of the class of 2010 and 2011. I still talk to some of them to this day through phone call, text, Facebook. I'm just sad to see Luther South go, but at the same time, I met my fiance out of it. So
I ain't mad. Right, life is good. Right. I think it's a lot of people that be like, I got me a boo thing out the situation.
Yeah.
They be all right, I'm okay.
Blessing.
Right. Look, if you get a boo thing out the situation, you're doing well. You really are. Marquise, anything in closing you want to say to everybody?
I'm going to miss the school. I definitely had some great memories. My greatest memories, my sophomore year basketball season, we went 16-5. And we almost won the conference title. The only school that beat us was it was Wheaton Academy. Wheaton Academy beat us, and we literally lost the conference championship by 5 points. But
Wow.
I had a great time. I definitely look back on those years, as fond memories. It definitely helped me grow as a person. I definitely still talk to my classmates from high school every now and then. Matter of fact, one of my classmates just became one of my frat brothers, so that's coincidental in itself. But if anybody ever wanted to help, resurrect the school, I'm definitely in on the cause. So, long live Luther South.
Yay! What a way to close this out. Yes, absolutely. Well, I just want to thank both of you. You both were just great. You gave me what I needed, what I wanted. You understood what we were trying to do tonight. And I really did want to talk to people who had been there at the end. Please forgive me, class of 2011. I'm sorry, but we'll have to add you guys the next time. But we just wanted to make sure we had some representation from the very beginning of the school all the way to the end. And you both just you both are just great. I appreciate you, and congratulations on your upcoming wedding. We're all there for you. We promise you that. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go, I actually have something that I think our class may have been the only class to get. We actually got our yearbook on DVD.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yes, sir. Look at how far we've come. Look at that. That is too cool. That is, I like that. I really do. I mean, digital time. I mean, and that's what I wanted to talk about, and just how far we've come over the years at Luther South. You know what I'm saying? Well, that is amazing. That really is. Well, God bless you both. We expect to see this superstar wedding on social media. I'm going to have both of you all back on to talk about being young and in love during a pandemic. And I appreciate you both. All right. God bless you and have a great night. Okay.
All right. You too.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. It was a pleasure. All right. Have a great night. Oh boy, Ann, this has been just a great show. Oh my God. I have to put the comment. How you feeling, darling? You okay? You started this. I just know how to drive the bus. I just know how to drive the bus. That's all I do is drive the bus.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm okay.
You all right?
I'll
How's this flashback been? Huh?
I'll be okay. It's just the end of an era.
It is. It is. And we just have got to, embrace it. We've got to thank God we all went through it. Again, our deepest condolences to all of our loved ones, our former Braves who have gone on to glory. We just lost a Brave this morning. But as far as, this show, this to me was just an outstanding show tonight. And I'm glad we were able to pull this off. Huh?
Right. Oh, definitely. I mean, and everybody said the same thing. It's something it just runs deeper than an education. We're just a family.
Yes.
We all got a great education, but we're just family. And that hashtag Raise for Life means so much more than just a hashtag.
Absolutely. Really, it does. Well, Ann, with your dad's birthday being Wednesday, your beautiful mom is still alive, and your family, and any closing thoughts that you want to say. And if you start boohooing and balling, babe, I'm a boohoo and ball with you. Our hormone levels are about on the same level now. You know what I'm saying? So you start boohooing and balling, I'm gonna start boohooing.
I just have one last thing to say, and it's about that cross that's on the outside of that building. I just want to take it and dedicate it in honor of my dad.
Let's see if we can get that cross off that building.
For his 30 years of service, he taught many kids, adults now, I mean, you said 7,000 went through there, right?
7,000 people graduated from Luther South. 7,000.
So let's just say 1968 through, what did I say, 1996. I don't know. How many kids do you think he taught?
Oh, are you kidding me? Right. Yep. Yep.
You know, and I'm
Yep.
not saying that other people weren't there longer or didn't do things,
No.
but my dad did a lot, you know, and him being a minister and teaching the word of God, that was his passion. He
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want to teach anything else but the word of God. And you know, it's a cross, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you know,
All
just
right. All right. Well, we are going to work on continuing to try to get that cross and do the right thing, and we are going to see what we can do to get Pete's to at least recognize our school, if it's nothing but a stone that we can touch, or a placard, or something that because of course we understand that life moves on and things must change. I remember when that land where Ultra was a dumping ground, and we wasn't quite sure if that was a cemetery.
I remember when it was the
Right,
forest preserves, and
right. I remember
people
getting
used
off the
to go across the street to go
yes,
smoke.
yes. Look, I remember getting off the Kizzy bus and a dead body was laying there one day. So
Wow.
I again, that land that was across there where Ultra was, I'm not sure about that land anyway. So at
Wow.
least we know where Pete's is going.
Yeah.
Good Christian people thrived there. We learned, we became
Yeah.
family, friends, all of that. And so, at least that's one thing that we hope Pete's recognizes, that Luther South really did mean something to people. And just, we don't want our history discarded like that. And that's why we did this show tonight. So listen, you guys, I'm not asking for any money whatsoever. I do this every night. This is my show. All I'm asking my fellow Braves to do is please go to YouTube and subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube. If you just subscribe, that would help me out a great deal. Visit my website as well too. I do my show Monday through Thursday night live from 7 p.m. until we talk about food, fashion, relationships, parenting, you name it. It's every night. But if you guys could go to YouTube and like the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube, that would help me out tremendously. It really would. I'd appreciate you guys so very much for that. I did this tonight being a former alum. Well, no, I'm an alum still, not former student, but y'all know what I mean. This time I've been on a long time tonight, but this was about love. It really was. So please go to YouTube, subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show. Stay in touch with me, you guys. I have some other things that we're going to try to do to get everybody back together again. Thank you to everybody who's created all of these pages, reunion pages, all of that. I'm not on them very often, but you guys do allow me to post and say things, and I appreciate you so very much. But look for something really big to come. It'll probably be virtual again, but we'll have to do something else to celebrate us all. Yes. Let's see. Let's get some comments before we go. How's the kitty cat doing? Is the cat ready to move too?
I have two cats.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, thank you so much for this wonderful show.
This is Jay.
Hey, Jay. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you guys for the beautiful feedback. And yeah, we do love you. We do. We love you so much. Thank you guys so very much. Oh, my pleasure. Subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube, Facebook, the Real Chat Daddy Show. That's all you guys need to do. It just free. Just help me out. I really would appreciate that. On behalf of all of the classes who went to Luther South from 1951 to 2011, we want to just say thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We really, really do appreciate you. Let's give Miss Ann Dietrich a big round of applause. This was her idea. This was her baby. And we definitely want to be able to get that cross off that building for her in honor of her dad, who spent 30 years at Luther South. And to your mom, who graduated in 1958. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally going to get out of here. This has been amazing. It does not seem like I've been sitting here for over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Is that right? It just does not, but we have. I am Art Chat Daddy Sims, Art Sims from the class of 84. Please visit my website. Come back and check out my show each night. I'm always looking for great guests. God bless you all. Thank you so very much. And I love you, darling. I'll call you in a little bit, babe. I will. Let's get some more feedback here. People really enjoyed this show tonight. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. All right, we're out. Tomorrow night, we have a fitness trainer coming by. She's famous in Japan. She's actually a fitness beautiful We can build our bodies up in 2021. And we're going to cover all the news from the weekend. Tonight was a special show, so I didn't cover COVID, the news, all that. We'll cover that tomorrow night. All right. God bless you all. Thank you so much to all of our fellow Braves, to all of our Braves that we've lost, to the young man who passed away this morning. Let's mention his name one more time, Ann, before we go.
Christopher Traylor.
Yeah. Yeah, we are so sad about the loss of Mr. Christopher Taylor. We really are. We are. All right, you guys, we love you so much. Thank you guys for the feedback. Subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show. That's all I need you guys to do. It's easy, it's simple, it's free, and I won't come to your door knocking on Saturday mornings asking for a donation. I will not. I promise you that. I love you guys so very much. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.